Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, Trump to hold key meeting on Gaza at White House, predicts conclusive ending of the conflict by the end of the year. Trump Fed feud escalates as central bank's Governor Cook plans to sue over illegal firing while US President mulls replacement. Rains and flood wreak havoc in parts of India's Jammu, Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. Met Department forecasts more rain in store for other parts of the country. And on the third day of US Open, Sinner and Swiatek breeze into the second round. Bolter and Kartal exit. Goff climbs her way back. US President Donald Trump will chair a meeting on Gaza at the White House on Wednesday. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said that Washington expected Israel's conflict in the Palestinian territory to be settled by the end of the year. Trump's term began with a ceasefire, which lasted 2 months. Trump stunned the world earlier this year when he suggested the United States should take control of the Gaza Strip, clear out its 2 million inhabitants, and build seaside real estate. Trump said the United States would remove rubble and unexploded bombs and turn Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the proposal, which was heavily criticized by many European and Arab states. In an interview to a news channel, Witkoff said that they're putting a very comprehensive plan. He also said that Israel was open to continuing discussions with Palestinian militant group Hamas. He also said that Hamas had signaled that they are open to a settlement. While in Israel, thousands of demonstrators massed in Tel Aviv on Tuesday, seeking to push the government to strike a deal to return the hostages as the Security Cabinet convened on Tuesday. Thousands gathered in Hostage Square, which has served as a focal point for the protest movement for months. The current agreement calls for a 60-day ceasefire and the release of 10 living hostages held in Gaza and of the 18 bodies. In return, Israel would release about 200 long-serving Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Once a temporary ceasefire begins, the proposal is for Hamas and Israel to begin negotiations on a permanent ceasefire that would include the return of the remaining hostages. There are 50 hostages remaining, of whom Israel believes around 20 are still living. Following the cabinet meeting, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu later spoke at an event on Tuesday evening, remaining vague about the government's intentions. As Israeli media reported, the meeting had been inconclusive.
We have just come from a cabinet meeting. I don't think I can elaborate too much, but I will say one thing. It started in Gaza and it will end in Gaza. We will not leave those monsters there. We will free all of our hostages. We will ensure that Gaza will no longer constitute a threat to Israel.
Iran held talks on Tuesday with European powers seeking to avoid a sanctions snapback, which they have threatened to impose under the moribund 2015 nuclear deal. The European trio, Britain, France and Germany, parties to the landmark 2015 Iran nuclear deal, have threatened to trigger the accord's snapback mechanism by the end of August. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister, who attended the talks with Britain, France and Germany in Geneva, said in a post on X that it was high time for the European trio to make the right choice and give diplomacy time and space. Tuesday's meeting was the second round of talks with European diplomats since the end of a 12-day war between Iran and Israel in June, triggered by an unprecedented Israeli surprise attack. The move would reimpose sweeping UN sanctions lifted under the 2015 agreement unless Iran agreed to curb its uranium enrichment and restore cooperation with International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors. Donald Trump's Fed feud intensifies as U.S. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook will be challenging Trump's attempt to remove her from the central bank after the U.S. leader ramped up pressure on the institution. Her lawyer, attorney Abby Lowell, said that Trump's attempt to fire Lisa Cook lacks legal and factual basis and announced plans to file a lawsuit challenging the action. Trump removed Lisa Cook on Monday, citing allegations of false statements related to her mortgage agreements, expanding pressure on the independent central bank. Citing the Federal Reserve Act, Trump said in a letter to Lisa Cook that he found sufficient cause to remove her from her position. Meanwhile, as per the Wall Street Journal, potential candidates to replace Lisa Cook include Trump advisor Stephen Miran and former World Bank President David Malpass, a close ally who has criticized the Fed for not cutting interest rates.
Well, we have some very good people for that position, and I think we have some very good people. We're down to, I think I maybe in my own mind have somebody that I like, but I deal with Scott and I deal with Howard, and we're dealing with a lot of people actually that are going to be involved in that decision ultimately. It's a very important decision.
U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that he is prepared to impose economic sanctions against Russia if Putin fails to agree to a ceasefire. At a cabinet meeting, Trump said that it will not be a world war, but it will be an economic war. Trump is seeking one-on-one talks between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Putin. Though Zelensky has agreed in principle to such talks, Putin has not.
I want to see that deal end. It's very serious what I have in mind if I have to do it, but I want to see it end. I think that in many ways he's there. Sometimes he'll be there and Zelensky won't be there. You know, it's like, who do we have today? I got to get them both at the same time. But I want to have it end. We have economic sanctions. I'm talking about economic, because we're not going to get into a world war.
Canada will extend its NATO mission in Latvia, Operation Reassurance, by 3 years. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, speaking at a joint press conference in Riga with Latvian Prime Minister Erika Selina, announced the extension of Canada's mission in Latvia. Over the next 3 years, Canada will enhance its brigade's capabilities, reinforce collective defense, strengthen cooperative security, and support NATO's presence. The Canadian-led multinational brigade in Latvia includes around 2,000 Canadian troops and personnel from over a third of NATO countries. With over 3,000 personnel deployed at sea, on land, and in the air, Operation Reassurance is Canada's largest overseas NATO mission. Germany is set to lift its month-long ban on the entry of vulnerable Afghan nationals, a foreign ministry official said on Tuesday, following rising domestic legal pressure and Pakistan's deportation campaign. Around 2,000 Afghans approved for relocation to Germany under a program for those deemed at risk under Taliban rule have been stranded in neighboring Pakistan for months after Berlin halted the program in an effort to reduce migration. The decision comes following several lawsuits by groups and dozens of affected Afghans challenging the freeze. The Interior Ministry, which had put the program on hold in the first place and was blocking its resumption, said Afghan nationals who were promised admission under earlier programs were undergoing individual case reviews. U.S. envoy Tom Barrack said on Tuesday that Washington would support the extension of the mandate of United Nations peacekeepers in Lebanon for 1 more year. A planned vote at the UN Security Council on the future of UNIFIL peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon, whose mandate ends on Sunday, has been postponed amid U.S. and Israeli opposition to the draft text. A new draft text would extend the peacekeeping mission, first deployed in 1978, to separate Israel and Lebanon, followed by its withdrawal by the end of 2027. The draft would decide to terminate the mandate of UNIFIL on December 31st, 2026, and to start an orderly and safe drawdown and withdrawal within 1 year. Barrack told journalists from Lebanon's presidential palace that the United States position is and will be extending for 1 year. The Security Council was initially expected to vote on Monday on a French drafted text that would have kept UNIFIL in place for another year while it prepares to withdraw.
$1 billion a year, 22 years of efficacy, and you're in a swamp. They haven't fired a bullet. They haven't fired a shot. You're in a worse dilemma than you've ever been with Israel and Hezbollah. The Secretary of the United States position is we will extend for 1 year. That's our position today.
Elon Musk's SpaceX launched its giant Starship rocket for a 10th test flight after being rescheduled for 2 times. The mission aims to push the boundaries of the rocket's reusable design and bring Elon Musk's Mars ambitions a step closer to reality. The launch follows 2 scrubs, a fuel leak on Sunday, and bad weather on Monday. The pressure was high, with the last 3 test flights ending in upper stage explosions twice over the Caribbean and once in space. The launch marked a major technical leap, with Starship surviving its initial ascent and reaching space on a path towards the Indian Ocean, where it is expected to splash down following a high-temperature atmospheric re-entry. If the final phases of the flight proceed as planned, Tuesday's test could mark a turning point for Starship, potentially clearing the way for more frequent launches and expanded mission profiles in the coming months. The death toll from Typhoon Kajiki rose to 3 in Vietnam as rescue workers battled uprooted trees and downed power lines, and widespread flooding brought chaos to the streets of the capital, Hanoi. The typhoon hit central Vietnam on Monday with heavy winds, tearing roofs of thousands of homes and knocking out power to more than 1.6 million people. Authorities warned of possible flash floods and landslides in 8 provinces as Kajiki's torrential rains continue to wreak havoc. Vietnam has long been affected by seasonal typhoons, but human-caused climate change is driving more intense and unpredictable weather patterns. A massive dust storm darkened the skies over Arizona's Pinal County, made driving difficult for people trying to get home as the storm descended. The National Weather Service described the dust storm as a haboob. Haboobs frequently occur during the summer monsoon season in the southwest United States. They happen when thunderstorms produce downdrafts that kick up dry, loose sand on the desert floor, creating a wall of dust that travels outward, spanning a much larger area than the thunderstorm itself, according to a weather expert. Officials have urged drivers to pull over if they encountered poor driving conditions. Scorching blazes of wildfires continue to engulf southeastern France. Wildfires have scorched more than 1 million hectares of land across the European Union so far this year. As of Tuesday, an estimated more than 100,000 hectares, an area larger than the island nation of Cyprus, had been ravaged by the fire. The record-breaking fires come amid an intense summer heat wave that has shattered temperature records from southern France and fueled fire risks in several countries. Scientists warn that Europe is heating up at nearly twice the global average rate, with 2025 already on track to become one of the hottest years ever documented. Spanish firefighters fight relentless battle against a series of wildfires that have ravaged the country's northwest in recent weeks. With over 15 active blazes still threatening homes, forests and farmlands, officials have described the situation as one of the worst environmental disasters Spain has faced in years. The fires, fueled by extreme summer heat and prolonged drought conditions, have scorched thousands of hectares along the regions of Galicia and Castilla y León. Thick smoke continues to blanket rural areas, prompting evacuations and straining emergency services. The Spanish government had deployed additional firefighting units and aerial support to the hardest hit areas. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, India and the US hold 2+2 intersessional dialogue to discuss regional security developments and shared strategic priorities. People welcome Bappa with much fervour and gaiety. Stay with us for the special celebrations we get for you from Mumbai. FIDE confirms Goa as the venue for the Chess World Cup 2025.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you. With majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. Arey, it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to embark on a 4-day visit to Japan and China from August 29th onwards. The Indian Prime Minister's engagements include the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit and 25th meeting of the Council of Heads of State of the Shanghai Cooperation Council in Tianjin. Take a look.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a crucial 4-day visit to Japan and China from 28th of August. His engagements will begin in Tokyo with the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit, which will set the agenda for the spatial strategic and global partnership between the two nations.
This is a significant visit for several reasons. It's Prime Minister Modi's first annual summit with Prime Minister Ishiba. It is also his first standalone visit to Japan in nearly 7 years. He last visited for the annual summit in 2018. This will be a visit that will be fully dedicated to the bilateral agenda between India and Japan. This is also Prime Minister's 8th visit to Japan since he took office in 2014.
Over the last decade, India and Japan have steadily expanded cooperation in defense and security, science and technology, infrastructure, mobility, and deep people-to-people exchanges. Prime Minister will meet prominent political leaders of Japan and take part in Business Leaders Forum with captains of Indian and Japanese industry. These interactions are aimed at deepening trade, investment, and technology relationships between the two countries. Ahead of the visit, India's Foreign Secretary said India attaches a high value to the Quad Group. He added that leaders of India and Japan want to further their cooperation on issues such as critical minerals under the framework of Quad Group.
The Quad is indeed an important platform for working on and promoting peace, stability, prosperity and development in the Indo-Pacific region. It covers critical and emerging technologies. There's an initiative with regard to critical minerals that has been discussed recently. So these are all issues that are a priority both for India and for Japan. Both our countries attach high value to this forum and to this partnership.
From Japan, Prime Minister Modi will travel to China for the SCO summit. On August 31st and September 1st, he will join the 25th meeting of the heads of the states of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will visit Tianjin, China for the 25th meeting of the Council of Heads of State of the Shanghai Cooperation Council, the SCO. The SCO was established with the primary goal of countering three evils of terrorism, separatism and extremism, which continue to remain a challenge. Today, as a regional platform, there is a broader range of sectors of cooperation among the SCO members.
The SCO brings together 10 countries: India, Belarus, China, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. During India's presidency in 2023, the SCO adopted a joint statement on countering radicalization, extremism, and terrorism. Security cooperation remains a focus area of SCO. Bureau Report, DD India.
India-US 2+2 intersessional dialogue was held virtually on Tuesday, where officials discussed regional security developments and exchanged perspectives on a number of shared strategic priorities. They discussed trade and investment, energy security, including strengthening civil nuclear cooperation, critical minerals exploration, counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism cooperation, and more. Both sides look forward to increasing defense cooperation, including signing a new 10-year framework for the India-US major defense partnership, as well as advancing defense, industrial, science, and technological cooperation. operational coordination, regional cooperation and information sharing. The chairs reaffirmed their commitment to promoting a safer, stronger and more prosperous Indo-Pacific region through the Quad. India and South Africa held a productive meeting on Tuesday with its Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Park Stow, holding talks with Indian counterpart Piyush Goyal. The two sides exchanged views on strengthening bilateral trade and investment ties, enhancing industrial partnerships and exploring new avenues for collaboration in diverse sectors such as pharmaceuticals, services and tourism. Let's get you the latest update from the Indian Met Department. It said that persistent rainfall is to be expected for multiple Indian states. Heavy showers at isolated places predicted in Mumbai until August 29th. Neighbouring Thane is also bracing for heavy rains, while Pune is likely to experience light to moderate rains accompanied by thunder showers during the same period. In Rajasthan, the monsoon continues to deliver heavy to very heavy rainfall across several regions. The Meteorological Centre in Jaipur has issued an orange alert for extremely heavy rainfall in Rajsamand, Sirohi and Udaipur districts. In Jammu, at least 5 people were killed and 14 were injured after heavy rainfall led to a landslide on the route to Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine atop the Trikuta Hill on Tuesday afternoon. Authorities fear the toll can rise further. Rescue operations are underway and the pilgrimage was suspended. All devotees are advised to replan their yatra to the shrine once the weather improves. Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board has established a dedicated helpline desk and ENR Niharika. The contact numbers are up on your screens: 9906019460, 9906019446, 91034915554. Relief column of Indian Army's White Knight Corps at Atkuwari, in concert with rescue parties of Shrine Board, JKP and CRPF, are assisting the victims of the landslide. Close coordination with all agencies is being carried out to maximize humanitarian aid. Since Monday night, relentless heavy rainfall has pounded the Jammu region and almost all water bodies are flowing above the danger level. Traffic on the Jammu-Srinagar and Kishtwar-Doda national highways was suspended, while dozens of hilly roads were blocked or damaged by landslides or flash floods. Indian Army continues to conduct search and rescue operations in flood-affected areas. Heavy rains have triggered landslides and swollen rivers and streams, disrupting road connectivity in several parts of Himachal Pradesh. The downpour has caused extensive damage to the Kiratpur-Manali National Highway at multiple locations, forcing its closure to traffic. Several other roads and a restaurant were swept away in Manali, while locals were evacuated in Mandi. Almost all districts in the hill state except Lahore and Spiti have been receiving rainfall since Sunday night, with no respite expected until September 1st. Let's turn focus to Mumbai. The festival of Ganesh Chaturthi is being celebrated from today, marking the birth of Lord Ganesha, the removal of obstacles and the god of wisdom and prosperity. Special celebrations are taking place in Mumbai with lakhs of devotees thronging at iconic Lal Bagh Cha Raja. For 10 days, it becomes the heart of Mumbai's celebrations, drawing devotees and visitors from across India and abroad. Besides, people also welcome Ganesha idols into their homes, observe fasts, prepare delicious treats and visit pandals throughout the celebration. The tradition of Lal Bagh Cha Raja began in 1934 and has since become one of the most respected Ganeshotsavs in India. On to sports now. In the US Open 2025, Iga Swiatek and Yannick Sinner cruised to the second round with routine wins. Wimbledon winner Swiatek cruised past Emiliana Arango 6-1, 6-2 in an hour without facing a break point. Swiatek has been in exquisite form since the Cincinnati Open. She will next face Suzanne Lemons in round 2. In other women's singles action, Marta Kostyuk defeated Katie Bolter, handing her a first-round exit. Beatrice Haddad Mala made light work of Sonne Kattel to send her smashing out of the event as well. Meanwhile, top-ranked men's defending champion Yannick Sinner thrashed Vit Kopriva in straight sets. Sinner eased into the second round, where he will face Australia's Alexei Popyrin. International Chess Federation has confirmed Goa as the venue for the Chess World Cup 2025, where top-tier players from around the globe are set to compete. India last hosted the tournament in 2002 in Hyderabad, which concluded with Grandmaster Vishwanathan Anand lifting the crown. The much-awaited spectacle brings together 206 players competing on India's west coast. Every round will be a win-or-go-home affair, making the World Cup one of the most dramatic tournaments on the calendar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed the announcement. He wrote on X, and I quote him, "India is delighted to be hosting the prestigious FIDE World Cup 2025, and that too after over 2 decades. Chess is gaining popularity among our youth. I'm sure this tournament will witness thrilling matches and showcase the brilliance of top players from around the world." That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but news and updates continue. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.